Told you it's a good show. Welcome back to the last hour of Friday, and of course that means it's Friday Night Live, the TNT Sports and talkSPORT hour. Every Friday, myself and Darren Bent will be joined by TNT Sports pundits, presenters and commentators from across the sporting world. Football, rugby, cricket, MotoGP, tennis, UFC and much, much more. This week, we're delighted to be joined in the studio by a new face to the show. Former England rugby superstar, TNT Sports pundit, and of course, friend of the show and one of our favourites, Ugo Monye has joined us. Ugo, good to see you again.
Evening. How good Shabbat?
Hey, how's it going, man? You good?
You've gone real early.
You are looking hot to trot, my friend.
Are you well, gents?
We are good. We're very well. How are you?
Yeah, good. I was going to say
like this.
Yeah, a bit of Y3.
Yeah.
Looking good, mate.
Thank
How's your week been? What have you been up to?
Very chilled. I took my kids to Kew Gardens Halloween Trail yesterday.
Oh, right, okay.
Hated it. They hated it.
You hate it?
I really enjoyed it.
Right.
It's meant to take an hour and a half to walk around and do all the bits and pieces. We did it in 40 minutes. We had to run through it because my kids, Phoenix and Ruby, were scared.
How old are they?
8 and 5.
Okay, yeah, it's going to be scary times for the kids like that.
But like,
Was it like a scare fest?
kind of, but not really. They just had a few bits, marshmallows.
We can say beers. They have a few beers.
Yeah, had a few bits, anything to get them to sleep.
Yeah.
But
He's
yeah.
joking, by the way.
Yeah, of course I
Yeah.
am. Yeah.
And what else you done the week? Been out on any dates with the ladies?
Honestly.
No, mate, I'm chilled. I'm like Arsenal's back four, just clean sheets.
Clean sheets.
It's just me, just.
Oh, right, fine, okay.
Oh, the penny's dropped.
Yeah.
Your penny or my penny? Well,
Still buffering
it's-
for you, isn't it?
Not me that's buffering, let me say that now.
Good joke.
It's still on there, good. Right, shall we move on?
let's.
Quickly move on. By the way, a bit later on, I want to talk to you about UFC.
Oh, yes.
Because your man's fighting this, is it tomorrow?
Aspinall, yeah.
Yeah.
Big fight.
And you've had a little grapple with him, haven't you?
Yeah, we had a little scrap a couple of years
Oh,
ago.
6:30. I've just been told we'll play the video at 6:30.
Okay, great.
All right?
Yeah.
You look good. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, let's get into it.
But we're going to start with the game that is live on TNT Sports and talkSPORT tomorrow. That's Brentford against Liverpool. Only slot side one in the Champions League in midweek. But, of course, they're still looking to avoid a fourth straight league defeat. Mohamed Salah was dropped to the bench for that game against Frankfurt, having scored just 3 goals so far this season. And Slot has been speaking to the media ahead of tomorrow's game. And he has defended the winger's form.
Players miss chances, and Mo is a human being as well, so we're not used to him missing chances, let alone a few games in a row, but these things can happen. What could have to do with, I have no clue if it does, but I could come up with it's easier maybe to finish a chance if you're 3-1 up than if you're 1-0 down, but maybe that's completely not true for him, but good. But I think the main thing is that Mo has always scored his goal for our club. And the last thing I worry about is Mo starting to score goals again. Because that's what he done his whole life. And that's what I expect him to do in the upcoming weeks and months for our club as well.
Ugo, I'll start with you. When you hear Arne Slot talking, does he sound like a manager under pressure?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's having the season this year, which we all expected him to have last year. Last year was impeccable. Of course, they're champions, and now he's under scrutiny. But you always get that when there's finance pumped into a side, when you are the champions and you've got the world-class squad that he's got. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the, I don't want to call them problems because it shouldn't be a problem to have so many world-class like attacking midfielders and strikers that Gareth Southgate had. How do we get a Palmer? How do we get a Foden? How do we get a Grealish? How do we get all of these top quality players into a team and get them to function? And that's what Arne Slot's got. If I was the owner or one of the money men at Liverpool, I'd be thinking, you've got exactly what you wanted. We had an expensive shopping list of players. You've now got them. This is on you as the coach to be able to find the right formation, and to find the right fit for this squad to fit and to perform. And at the moment, they're underperforming. I don't know if they're underperforming against our expectations, but certainly his expectations for a team that were champions just a few months ago.
He's talking about Mohamed Salah as well
Yeah.
in that clip, dropped in midweek. Does he make the starting 11, do you think, this weekend or not?
I think he'll bring him back.
Why?
I just think, do you know what, I think he will, because I think with Mohamed Salah, he's one of those players where you know he's only one moment away from returning to what we know he can do. And I think he'll look at that and go, right, do you know what? I've said this about him. I've given him a little bit of confidence because I said to you before in the week, I wasn't happy with the situation where at the end he could have passed to Wirtz and he shot, but he did the same thing also against Manchester United as well where he could have passed it. So that was a little bit greedy. But I think he'll bring him back in, but I don't think his position now is as rock solid as it once was. But I think the biggest thing as well is what does he do in terms of Isak? Because Isak hasn't got going at all yet, whereas Ekitike has been brilliant. Right. Has been unbelievable. So I think that's where Arne Slot might look at it. And if he doesn't bring Salah back, he'll go with the same three. He'll go with the Gakpo, Isak and Ekitike. But so I think he probably will bring him back. But I think Isak might come out of the team because I think he's got a groin problem as well.
Yeah.
I think it'll be Ekitike and Gakpo.
I heard this morning that he might be okay for the game. Whether or not he starts, I don't know.
It's got to be Ekitike.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're £80 million is a lot of money to play for. We're only
120 million is a lot to not play.
But that's why we're not giving Ekitike the respect. He only cost 80 million.
I know.
But it's nuts.
Yeah.
It's mad, but the division of labour in terms of who's scoring goals for Liverpool has wildly changed. Over the last years, it's all been about Salah. The way in which they played all went through Salah, and Salah was the man that delivered. He's a legend. Let's not forget that. We totally understand it. But, as I've already mentioned, division of labour in terms of who does what and who contributes the goal. We've seen that with Arsenal. I always talk about this, but we have so many different goal scorers. Liverpool didn't over the last couple of years. I think they're going to go to way more balanced contribution of goal scorers. And that might mean that Salah and the way in which he contributes might have to be slightly selfless to what it's been the last years.
Let me ask you, I'll stay with you, Ugo. Before the season started, I think Liverpool favourites, then it was Arsenal. You're now favourites, you're top of the Premier League as well. Do you see them as your nearest rivals, or is it Man City?
I feel deeply uncomfortable about the lack of conversation about Man City.
Yeah, agreed.
I picked them to win it, by the way.
Yeah, it's all been Arsenal and Liverpool going into it, and Pep's, he looks laser focused. I don't know how many more seasons he's got as a City manager. So he's focused to reproduce the glory days of what had been. And in Erling Haaland, you just have an unbelievable weapon. If Arsenal got the best defence and no one is touching Erling Haaland, and even when they're not fully at it, you just know he's going to score goals. Pressure is such a massive intangible in elite sport. And the pressure at the moment is on Arsenal to maintain their form, on Liverpool to get back to where they are. But City, they're just they're flying underneath the radar. And that is so dangerous for everyone in the league.
So I think that as well. I know Liverpool, and rightly so, because they won the Premier League last season, but the fact that people were almost disrespecting, and I felt that was it started when they played Arsenal. It was almost like Arsenal should just wipe the floor with Man City. And I remember thinking, well, how can we have these type of conversations? Like, they've got some of the best players, they've got the best centre forward. He's in the conversation as the best in Europe, if not the world. And it was almost like people were kind of having to go at Arsenal for just not completely destroying Manchester City, and it just doesn't work like that. I think with Pep and the players that they've got, the experience they've got, the quality players that they've brought in this transfer window as well, and with Haaland looking like the Haaland who first arrived in England, there's no way you can write them off.
Just quickly, we've only got about 50 seconds left of this section. They've got Brentford the weekend, Liverpool. They're on a stretch of, 4 defeats on the bounce in the Premier League. Do you see that stretch ending or not?
Absolutely. I think Liverpool come alive this weekend.
You do? You think they'll beat Brentford?
I think so. I don't like the comments of Arne Slot about long ball football. Brentford are going to do that.
Yeah, well, they are now anyway.
Do you know what I mean? Now you've told everyone to struggle with it. So they'll do that. Find a solution. You've had 4 or 5 games. I think Liverpool come alive.
Okay. Do you, Ben? I don't think it'll be that easy. What do you think?
I don't think it'll be that easy, but I do think that result in midweek against Frankfurt, that's a statement. Like a statement when going 1-0 down as well, and having the attitude and the way that some of these players, more experienced players, stepped up. Andy Robertson, who I think will come straight back into the side now. I think Kirkes is going to have to take a back seat. The right-hand side, the right back is maybe still a situation, but just the way that they came back against Frankfurt and in the manner in which, even though it was 5, it probably should have been about 10.
Yeah.
I think Brentford, they might come a bit too soon for them.
Okay. More from Ugo Monye, myself, Andy Goldstein, Darren Bent in just a moment. This is Friday Night Live with our friends at TNT Sports on talkSPORT. Is it Cheadletown Stingers? Is that right?
Yeah.
Go on, you...
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Oh, fine, okay. They'll go head-to-head in the first round of the Adobe Women's FA Cup tomorrow. It's live on TNT Sports 1. It's set to be an historic occasion as it's the first ever Women's FA Cup first-round match to be televised. TNT Sports will broadcast 19 matches from this season's Women's FA Cup. Let's get more on this now as we welcome former England midfielder and TNT Sports pundit and our friend, the wonderful Fara Williams, joins us. Fara, good evening to you.
Good evening, guys. I mean, it's Cheadletown Stingers.
Cheadle. Cheadle. I'm not au fait with Cheadletown, I'll be honest. You can probably tell me a bit more about them. But before you do that, just tell me about how exciting this is, because I mentioned that it's the first ever Women's FA Cup first round tie to be televised. That's such a great thing for the game, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's massive. I think the Women's FA Cup has always been so iconic, especially because it's the only game or tournament, should I say, that has ever been broadcasted. It was the BBC that used to show just the final. So the fact that now TNT are showing literally the first group game, and all the way through to the final. It's massive because, grassroots football and the bottom of the pyramid need that exposure. So the fact that, it's starting with the opener tomorrow, Borough against Cheadletown Stingers. It's exciting. It's a difficult one because, the FA Cup, these teams are unknown quantities. We don't really know much about them. There's not much you can get on the internet. So, real difficult one and an exciting one, both for the players and us as pundits to get out there and actually see what that level of football is.
That's what I was going to say, Farah, because of course we know, certainly in the men's game, about the magic of the FA Cup, and sometimes you do get these unexpected results. But what are you expecting from this one, or is it just too hard to say?
I think it's going to be a difficult one. Borough beat them last season. They clipped him on the final day of the season to actually get promoted. So the two of them, in terms of the gap between the two, is really tight. They're both come into the game unbeaten in at least the last 10 games, don't concede many goals. So it'll be a tight game. I'm sure Cheadletown will want to get one back on them, having, missed out on the final day to promotion last year. But I think, hopefully Borough can get some fans in. It'll be exciting. As I said, it's televised, which will be even more exciting for both sets of players. I think for those players, though, the nerves, knowing that it's going to be broadcasted, they're going to want to showcase that, that part of the pyramid. There'll be a lot of expectation and pressure, I guess, from the players on themselves to showcase how good it is down at the bottom.
I'm obviously biased working for TNT Sports like yourself, but how important is it to be able to connect the grassroots all the way through the top of the pyramid and the greats, and to be able to broadcast this first round tie just gives such incredible exposure to the bandwidth or footballing ability right up and down the country?
Exactly that. It is the exposure. I think, everybody craves that little bit of exposure to showcase themselves. I think the FA Cup is that. I think, certainly as a youngster growing up, the FA Cup was the one competition I wanted to get into, hopefully get in the draw against, maybe these players that you aspire to become. So it is that. I think the FA Cup delivers that in terms of the draw. Anyone can win it from grassroots all the way through to the professional game. So it's a big opportunity for the girls. And obviously the fact that TNT have gone in big and started showing it from the first round, it's really exciting.
Listen, Farah, while we've got you here, let's talk about your team, Chelsea. They look pretty unbelievable at the moment, even when they don't go full strength. We saw the youngsters in action during the week. We were talking actually earlier on in the show just how far this Chelsea side can go. What do you think the aim is for them when you look at how the young kids, when they come in, how they're playing, they're taken to the game? What do you think realistically the aim is? Because we were just talking about Arsenal, are they favourites now? Liverpool, where do you rank them? You've got Man City as well, you can't write them off, Ugo said. Do you put Chelsea in amongst that mix?
Not yet. I think they're too young and inexperienced. And with inexperience, I think you get those inconsistencies. But they're certainly a talented group of players. I mean, the average age of the team that played the other day was very young. The goal scorers, obviously 3 goal scorers under 19 years of age. I was surprised that they were able to make 10 changes against, an Ajax team that probably aren't in the greatest of form, and probably not the same Ajax that we know from years ago. But still, it's a massive game in the Champions League, and for those players to perform the way that they did, yes, they was up against 10 men for long periods, but the performance was good, and the kids look really exciting. I think top 4 has to be a target. I think they have to get Champions League football again. I think they still need, experience. They need probably another goalkeeper, an experienced centre-half. But outside of that, I think if they can start to get those consistencies, they can be a team that can challenge the likes of Arsenal, Liverpool, City, and teams around that.
Fara, when you look at where Chelsea are currently, and as you said, that was a really good result midweek, and then you look at what you didn't have available when you had the likes of Gusto's not there, Levi Colwell, who I'm a big fan of, Cole Palmer, I think Liam Delap's not too far away, João Pedro was suspended. When you then add all of those back into the Chelsea squad, I think you're right. I think top 4 has to be a minimum, but also, could they pick up a trophy somewhere?
Maybe a domestic trophy. I think Champions League might be a little bit too far-fetched for them. Top 4 definitely has to be a target for them. I think Arsenal look strong all round. If you look at how far Arsenal have come in recent years and how they've grown and developed their squad, Chelsea is still off of that by a bit of a way. Liverpool, they're not going through a transition, but they've certainly brought in new players and having to adapt, and looks like they're finding a new way, and maybe with that new way looking without Mo Salah a little bit. So Man City are the ones that I think haven't really been spoken about. They're quite quiet at the minute. No one's saying that they're going to challenge, say, the likes of Arsenal and Liverpool. I think they might just sneak up. But yeah, I think maybe a domestic cup is more realistic target. A top 4 finish has to be a priority, and then I guess for the Champions League, I just think it's a bit like the boxing. Depends on the matchup. Will depend on how far Chelsea can go.
Farah, your hair looks good. Thanks for coming on. If you don't mind me saying, have you got has Bentley given you the trainers yet for charity?
I haven't, Farah.
I'm still waiting.
Farah, you're gonna keep. Listen, come on.
Why is it her fault? Farah, I can only apologise. They're in the. I was going to say they're in the post. They're
not. She's only joking. She got them. She's joking.
Have you got them, Farah?
Definitely not. Come on, Benny, man, sort it out.
Farah, always a pleasure. Oh, there's the alarm again. Put some batteries in.
No, there's definitely no alarm today.
Have a great weekend.
I took the batteries out.
Yeah, we put them back in. We weren't looking. Thanks for coming on. We'll see you soon. Have a good weekend.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
A reminder, you can watch Middlesbrough against Cheadletown live on TNT Sports 1 tomorrow. It kicks off at 12:15. Just a quick word from both of you, actually, Hugo. I'll start with you about Chelsea. Because we were talking, you said, I'm surprised a lot of people aren't talking about Man City. No one's really talking about Chelsea. For the right reasons? Is it too early for them, do you think?
I think so. I think Farah's already alluded to it in terms of the age profile of their squad. I think they're so talented. I love how strong-minded Enzo Maresca is. He's so certain about the style of football he wants to play. I think they're shorn of a couple of key positions. We spoke about Sanchez. Is he the type of goalkeeper that you need to win a title? Yeah. I'm not certain about that. But what they did show in the Club World Cup is that they're a brilliant cup team, because they can go deep into it. And on any given Sunday, they can beat absolutely anyone.
Agreed.
But do they have the legs and the longevity to be able to win a Premier League?
But don't you think it's a bit nuts that, and we had this with Arsenal, we're still having it with Arsenal, when are they going to be ready to win the Premier League? Not yet, not this season, a bit too early. And now we're saying it with Chelsea, and they spend millions upon millions.
Now.
Now, I know Arsenal already now, and this is the season you would think, and Arsenal favourites for a reason, that they're going to win it. But why aren't we saying it with Chelsea? I mean, they spend copious amounts of money.
Yeah, I think had they bought players that are absolutely ready and experienced in the Premier League and have gone the distance previously, whether that be other clubs or at Chelsea, I think we can have that conversation. But we know what Chelsea's transfer policy's been.
Yeah.
Investing into young players that could potentially be superstars, or investing into young players that they can sell on and make massive profit on. So I think for that reason alone, they're not quite ready yet. And if they were, you look at the quality and you think fair play, but I think that would be a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, it would surprise me, and I think Ugo's 100% right. When you think of what they've signed, João Pedro, 23 years old, Gittins, 20, Garnacho, 21, Esteval's 18, Delap's 22. Do you know what I mean? A lot of these signings are, Buonanote's 20. A lot of these signings are...
22, 23, is that young? It's not really young, is it?
Well, yeah, of course it is. I mean,
16, 17, 18, 19,
yeah,
young, right?
Yeah, but even you're not buying these players to win you the league yet. You're thinking in a few years' time they're either going to develop into...
But when's a few years? Because if you've got to wait 5 years for these players to be 26, 27, that's a long time to wait.
Yeah, it's a long time, but you never know. I mean, some of these players won't even be there. But I think they bought them young so that if it doesn't develop how they want, they either sell them on or in a couple of years' time. Because football's, even though it's 2-3 years, it goes like that, doesn't it? When you think about it, it goes so quickly. So.
What I do think would be interesting, Esteval, as people are calling him, he likes to play that Cole Palmer role, right?
He's not playing there yet, is he?
Well, there can only be one. I just wonder if they've got both of them, so one day they'll sell one for like 250 million and carry on bankrolling more players coming in. What a great problem to have, right?
They're a great business.
Yeah.
We know, I mean, the American owners, they're business-minded. And then you've got a coach who just wants to win. If they can get the symmetry of their ambitions aligned, They'll be a powerhouse that make loads of money. Their FFP won't be an issue, and they hope along the way. To Farah's point, they need to continually win something, even if it's a domestic title. That keeps the fans on side as well as seeing the progress of young players.
When we come back, we're going to be talking about UFC. Tom Aspinall fights at the weekend, the best on the planet, and you had a little rumble with him.
We did.
Okay.
A little roll around.
It was a big roll around, actually. We'll talk about that and more when we come back.
The Premier League's profit and sustainability rules are sold to us as financial fair play, a way to keep clubs from going bust. But there are those who feel it's starting to look a lot like a system that protects the big boys and keeps the rest in their lane. Here's how it works and why people feel that way. So clubs can only lose 105 million quid over 3 years, which sounds fair, but here's the kicker. Your limit includes how much you earn. So if you're one of the traditional top 6, you've got massive global revenue streams and you can spend way more while still technically following the rules. Meanwhile, ambitious clubs like Newcastle, Villa or Forest, well, they're bringing a knife to a gunfight. Newcastle might be backed by Saudi billions, but they just can't splurge the cash. Their commercial income isn't there yet. Last season, they won their first domestic trophy since 1955 and qualified for the Champions League, which you'd think would be a great springboard for them to go on and start building a team to challenge at the very top. But because of PSR restraints, they couldn't break their wage structure for a new Alexander Isak contract, and look what happened there. So what's the solution? will either loosen the reins so ambitious clubs can spend within their means, or cap spending based on something other than revenue. Otherwise, we're just watching the same 6 teams swapping silverware most seasons, and that, folks, ain't what the Premier League was built on.
Well, Matt's Friday Night Live, TNT Sports, talkSPORT Hour. It's me, Andy Goldstein, and Premier League 100 Club member Darren Bent, and of course, someone you never swipe left, former England rugby star and TNT Sports pundit Ugo Monye. Always right. From us at 7, Hugh will be hosting.
No, mate, I'm here. You do this all the time. I'm here with you. I'm obviously not doing the show afterwards.
With Hugh?
No, I'm here with you now.
No, Hugh Wozencroft.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Hugh will be hosting live
No, I'm here. Me, you and Ugo. We're here. Now.
No, Hugh Wozencroft.
Okay.
Hosting live Premier League football as West Ham go to Leeds. Come on, do it. Good joke. Every week. Remember that over on talkSPORT 2, you can hear Preston against Sheffield United in the Championship. We'll bring you the team news for those games as soon as it drops. Now, tomorrow from 7 p.m, fans will be able to watch UFC 321 as Tom Aspinall makes his first defence of his heavyweight title against his opponent. Exclusively live.
What's his name?
I'm not going to get it.
Name? Go on.
Cyril Gane.
There you go.
Is that it? Cyril Gane, exclusively live on TNT Sports box office. Let's get more on this now as we're joined by TNT Sports UFC expert, and he's an expert, Nick Peet. PT, good evening to you.
Good evening, boys.
Did I pronounce his name correctly?
You absolutely nailed it, mate. Yeah, you got it. Bang on. Cyril Gane. Isn't it bizarre that the baddest man on the planet on Saturday will be fought between a guy called Thomas and a guy called Cyril? There's two matchups we probably never thought we'd get for the heavyweight title.
Right, listen, let's obviously start with that fight because Tom Aspinall now is the baddest man on the planet. Are we going to see anything other than an Aspinall victory? Because he, to me, I don't know too much about this sport. Ryan does. I know, obviously, you do. But I'm led to believe that no one can even come close to him.
Well, before Tom got into the UFC, Cyril Gane came in and everyone was saying he's the next generation heavyweight. He's the heavyweight that's 6'5", 250 pounds, but moves like a middleweight, so light on his feet, fantastic footwork. And then Tom came in and it was like, oh, we've got two of these next generation heavyweights. Cyril Gane had a couple of cracks at the UFC heavyweight title and ultimately fell short. Tom got his opportunity, took it with both hands. And as you say there, Tom's had 15 wins, 15 finishes. You know, he's had 9 fights in the UFC. 8 of them have gone in the first round. That's how destructive he is, because he's got the footwork, but he's also got the speed. He's also got the ground game. But every fight starts on its feet, and that is Cyril Gann's biggest strength. And in that position, if it was a pure kickboxing match, Cyril Gann versus Tom Aspinall, you could argue is a real 50-50 fight. It's when it hits the ground. That's when Cyril's in trouble, because that's where Tom is an absolute monster.
Nick, I know you've probably been asked this question a lot of times, and I'll get back to this fight in a minute, but why did we never see Tom versus John Jones?
Because John Jones, quite bluntly, there wasn't enough data on Tom Aspinall, I believe, for John Jones to be able to do his research, because that's who John Jones is. He's a game planner. He likes to study his opponents. He doesn't take late notice opponents, never has in his career, even though he's, quite often labelled the greatest of all time. There just purely wasn't enough information on Tom Aspinall.
Do you agree with that answer? Because that sounds to me like the most cowardly answer I've ever heard.
I 100% agree with that answer, because if you're supposed to be the baddest man on the planet, if you're the heavyweight champion of the world, you shouldn't be dodging anybody. To define your legacy as the greatest of all time, it's like Muhammad Ali got to a certain point in his career and said, you know what, there's not enough data on these new young guys coming through. I'm going to call it a day. No, but that's exactly what John Jones has done. John Jones will be sitting somewhere in America watching this fight tomorrow, praying Cyril Gann, who he beat in 1 round, praying Cyril Gann lands something so we can point the finger and laugh back at Tom Aspinall.
That won't be happening.
No, it won't be. I mean, Tom, now he's the undisputed, and that's absolutely fantastic, and we love him. He's a brilliant character. How much pressure do you think he's got going into this just to be able to take another step forward?
I think he's under tons of pressure, but I think they both are. In Tom's regard, John's walked away from the game now, as Tom himself said. I will retire John Jones without even stepping into an octagon with him, and he's been proven right. But obviously, the pressure there now is to go and deliver. John Jones beat this guy in 1 round. And if you're the 1 round guy, who Tom is, then you've got to match that. And the world is watching and seeing if you can build this legacy and this heavyweight run that you're claiming you're going to do. But also, look at it the other way you go. Cyril Gann's had 2 shots at the UFC heavyweight title. You're very, very fortunate to get 3. He's definitely never going to get a 4th. So the pressure's on him, because if he doesn't pick that belt up here on Saturday night, there is no championship future for him come Sunday morning. Potentially his career is over. So there's tons of pressure on both of them, to be honest.
Nick, again, let me ask you about Tom then, because he's 32, and I feel like with the UFC, you can age quite quickly overnight. We've seen some of the best fighters in UFC all of a sudden lose 1 fight, and then that's it. They're never the same. How long do you think Tom then's got at this level? Because as you said there, he's probably the most destructive fighter on the planet.
Yeah, we're looking at the heavyweight division, and most heavyweights, if you think about Lennox Lewis and things like that, probably peak around 35, 36. So I would argue he's not at his peak yet. Also, because he's finishing everybody, he's had 9 fights. His average fight time is 2 minutes and 20 seconds, I think it is, in the UFC. There's no damage. There's no... He's not taken a lot. Obviously, the fight camps are taking a lot out of him, but he's got a massive team around him now, and there's no stone unturned in terms of looking at every aspect of his training. But there's no weathering there. It's not like he's been through these grueling 5-round fights where so many fighters do, and then ultimately that's when the injuries come in. That's when Father Time catches up with you. So I don't think we've even seen. I think we've just seen the tip of the iceberg of what Tom has potential of. Genuinely. This kid from Atherton near Greater Manchester could well be, never mind the best heavyweight we've ever seen in this sport, he could go on to become the most successful fighter, period. Not even out of Britain, because he just looks so destructive. Nick, if he stays in MMA, by the way.
Nick, on the back, we'll talk about he might go into boxing in just a moment. I think his dad said that, but on the back of what you've just said, right, whenever I think of UFC, I think of, Bentley's just mentioned John Jones, I think of Conor McGregor, I think of, this is just me, Michael Bisping. These are like names that are known throughout the world, not just because they're UFC, but we just know their names. Some people have heard of them, don't necessarily know what they do. Can the same be said for Tom Aspinall?
Not yet, because this is his first defence of the undisputed heavyweight title. So he has been in the shadow of John Jones, who for the last decade has dominated this sport. Now, that's why we were talking about pressure, and I think what Ugo was pointing at before. Now the pressure's on Tom to deliver. Go on then, go. Everyone's saying you're the next generation heavyweight, you're the future of this sport. We've never seen anything like you in the heavyweight division. Well, if that's true, go out and deliver now. Now you've got to rack up defences. Now you've got to go undefeated in, so many title fights. You've got to break the record. Stipe Miocic has got the record in the UFC for most heavyweight defences. It's only 3. But bear in mind, this heavyweight title's only existed for not even 3 decades yet. So the sport is so young, but all those names you've just mentioned then, there is an opportunity to become a global superstar when you start racking up the wins. Bear in mind, he's been sitting out for 15 months because John Jones has messed him about.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. Saturday's so massive. I'm sure you're backing Tom Aspinall for the win on Saturday. But how do you think this fight ends?
Well, you probably know better than me. I've seen the footage when you were rolling around on the mat, So he did mention something about you, one of his main sparring partners.
I'll tell you what, we've got that. Let's roll that footage in. Actually, this is if you're not lucky enough to be near YouTube. This is Ugo Monye having a roll around with Tom Aspinall. While we play the footage, maybe you can talk us through it, Ugo.
Do you know what? We were just wrestling, and he said, "Okay, now we're just going to go. We're going to go at it." And so I was thrilled to be able to get him on the floor, and I was chuffed with that. I would have been happy if they just rung the bell there. I managed to just about escape this one, and then he flips on my back. I'm not a small person. I'm just over 6'1". He's 6'5", and he's 20 kilograms heavier than me. It is also worth just adding the context to this. It's not like we were throwing punches or the rest of it. If he wanted to take my life at any moment, he could have taken it. And the other thing I've got to say, because I've not done contact sports for a number of years, my neck was in pieces for 3 or 4 days after it. Just because the body management, you have to be so robust in order to be able to take all of these shots. Yeah. He's 125 kilograms. Leaning on me. Imagine that weight, that pressure. So, I mean, I was chuffed. He's the baddest man on the planet.
What about Prime Ugo?
Prime Ugo.
I don't think we've seen that yet.
Exactly that. It was great. He's an unbelievable grappler. But do you think Tom grapples his way to victory, or are we seeing a punch, a knockout blow? How does it end?
Yeah, well, Tom obviously has got a lot of first-round finishes, and John Jones, when he beat Cyril Gane, he simply shot for the double leg, took him down, used his grappler and put him in a submission position. Everybody knows Cyril Gane hasn't got a background in grappling or wrestling, so that is the hole in his game. But that title fight was a couple of years ago, and it took Cyril Gane to go away and fill those holes if he's ever going to realise his full potential. But obviously, you would think Tom being a black belt, that is the path of least resistance. Yeah. But Tom isn't necessarily a guy that shoots for singles or double legs. If you look at most of his fights, which he finishes people with his hands because he drops them because he's so fast. And when they hit the canvas, you've got this 255-pound hulking monster coming down on you, throwing punches all over the place. And it's usually that's how it stops. So I don't think we'll see him shoot. But if Cyril Gane hits the floor and there's an arm or there's a neck to be grabbed, you better believe Tom will grab it.
Nick, before I let you go, I don't know if you know the answer to this, but we love our sport. We don't just love UFC. We don't just love football. We love our sport. Liverpool playing Saturday night. I'm led to believe this fight is in Abu Dhabi, and it might take to the Octagon round about 9:30, which would mean a clash. Do UFC, do they usually wait for another sporting event, like in boxing? They usually wait if there's a big football match on. They wait for that to finish before the main event. Will that happen in UFC, do you think?
No, it won't happen. Not for a sport like football. No, they don't. They won't wait for Liverpool. Unfortunately, maybe if Paddy the Baddy was on the bill. Yeah, they definitely wouldn't. But funnily enough, a couple of years ago, Canelo Alvarez actually sat in his dressing room in New York while the UFC played out their main events to let the UFC finish. That's where the pecking order's gone over in the US right now. So, but no, they won't wait for the Reds. But I will have the Reds on my iPad or my phone somewhere, just keeping across here because we're winning again now. I'm happy again.
Not in the league. What time do you think it'll be in the Octagon? About 9:30?
About 9:30, I think,
okay.
Yeah. And it's on TNT box office, and it's going to be absolutely unreal. The country needs to get behind Tom Aspinall. If you've not watched him yet, believe you me, this guy, you could compare his run right now is compatible to Mike Tyson in the 80s. Get behind him. He's a superstar.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. Nick, thanks for coming on. Are you, by the way, in a hotel room or are you in maybe a spare room in your house? It looks very posh where you are.
No, I'm in Abu Dhabi, aren't I? I'm in
my you're there now, are you? Okay.
For anyone who's been out to the Middle East, there's no such thing as anything less than a 5-star hotel, so I'm being well looked after, to be honest.
Well, listen, enjoy it. I think it's going to be an unbelievable night of contact sport. I really do. It'll be fantastic. And let's hope we get a Tom Aspinall victory.
Absolutely. Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Okay. Thanks for that.
So we've got Liverpool Brentford tomorrow.
Yeah.
We've got West Aspinall.
Yeah.
And Parker Wardley.
Yeah.
Mate.
We're going to need 16. We need. Oh, no, he hasn't got one. He hasn't got one. Why have you done that?
Yeah, look, I don't want to go to jail, that's why.
He hasn't got one. He's got two. Final answer at 7. Hugh Wozencroft hosts live Premier League football as West Ham go to Leeds. Team news for that is in Sam Matterface. By the way, Sam, your hair looks amazing. He's got all the details. Hi, Sam.
Oh, thank you very much, Andy. I do appreciate your little delivery that was left for me this morning. Look, I'm going to be completely honest with you. As far as I understand it, there was a little bit of sickness in both camps over the course of this week. That's the only way I can explain the team selection, especially for West Ham United tonight. Let's start. There's no Callum Wilson from the start. Let's just get that out there. No striker in the West Ham team again. For Leeds United, 4 changes from the team that lost against Burnley. Luca Perry comes back in goal to replace Cardalo. The right back is Bogle. Rodon Bijol makes a Premier League debut, and Goodmanson in the back line. That's a 4-man back line. Longstaff, Ampadu and Tanaka in midfield. Aronson, Calvert-Lewin and Okafor in attack. Now, he was a bit of a doubt, but he's in the team. Pascal Struijk is on the bench today. So is Daniel James, who came off the bench in that game against Burnley after injury. Joel Pirro, Metcha, Stack, who's usually in the team, also on the bench today. Jack Harrison, James Justin and Ilya Gruev. Let's turn our attention to West Ham United. God knows. The team from the defeat at the London Stadium makes one change. One change. Areola is the goalkeeper. I think they're playing a back three of Wan-Bissaka, Todibo and Kilman. Diouf at left wing back and Skulls at right wing back, because that worked on Monday. Souček and Irving in the middle of the park, and Bowen, Paquetá and Somerville going forward. I mean, Dean Ashton is sitting alongside me. He's trying to write it down and work it out. We're baffled by that team selection, bearing in mind that on the bench they have Matías Fernandes, huge big money signing, Sangatu Magassa, who was on the bench on Monday, Freddie Potts, Callum Marshall, Guido Rodriguez, Callum Wilson, Carl Walker-Peters and Igor Julio. Pick the bones out of that, boys.
Goals, goals, goals. Thanks, Sam. A reminder, over on talkSPORT 2, you can hear Preston against Sheffield United in the Championship. Team news for that is also in. Mark Wilson has more. Hi, Mark.
Hi, guys. Preston make 2 changes from the midweek loss to Birmingham. Alfie Devine replaces Ali McCann in midfield, and Lewis Dobbin comes in for Michael Smith. They go with Everson in goal, the back three of Story, Gibson and Hughes. Whiteman holding midfielder, Offia, Devine, Armstrong and Vukovic in the middle, with Jefferson, the former Blade, partnering Lewis Dobbin up front. For the Blades, they make 4 changes. Won the last 2 games. They make 4 changes from the win at Blackburn. Brooks, Burrows, Campbell and Riedewald come in, as out goes Samari, McCallum, Cannon and Ings. It's Cooper in goal, the back three of Tanganga, McGuinness and me. Ogbene, Peck in the middle of the field alongside Burrows and Riedewald, and it'll be Brooks and Campbell alongside Callum O'Hare in the front 3 positions. We're live on talkSPORT 2 from 7:45. Former Liverpool and Blade striker Courtney Sweetman-Kirk alongside me at Deepdale for Preston against Sheffield United.
Thanks, Mark. And a reminder, of course, the Sports Bar Weekend will be on air from 10 or straight after the final whistle to take your calls on another busy night of football. When we come back, it'll be DB v TNT bracket sports. Right, Friday Night Live, TNT Sports and talkSPORT Hour. It's me, Andy Goldstein, Premier League 100 Club member. Darren Bent, former England rugby star and Housewives' favourite, Ugo Monye. Time now for this, everyone.
It's time.
It is tight and tense.
We're flying and our fists are punching. DB versus TNT.
What drama on talkSPORT, just when you think you've seen it all.
Good night.
We've only got about 2 minutes. I'm going to rattle through this. Right, time for our feature, DB v TNT Sports, where each week on Friday Night Live, Premier League 100 Club member Darren Bent has been pitting himself against our studio guest from TNT Sports. This week, of course, we've got Ugo Monye. Every Friday, they'll be predicting some of the biggest games from the weekend. If they correctly get a result right, they get a point. If they get the score right, they get 3. Scores currently are DB on 25, TNT Sports 20. So, Ugo, pull me your socks up.
I've got this.
Right, okay. It says Stephen Bentley. I don't know who Steve is.
Last week.
Oh, was it? Oh, yeah, of course. Copy and paste. Right, tonight, 8 p.m, I'll go with Ugo first. Now, we've just heard the West Ham team. Sam Matterpace was quite scathing. It's a game you can hear live on talkSPORT Ellen Road. Of course, Leeds the home side. Ugo, what will the score be?
2-1 to Leeds.
Okay, just the 2 goals.
Just because West Ham are so desperate for something, I think it'll be a tighter game. I do expect Leeds to have more chance.
Oh, okay, shut up. Bentley, what are you going for?
I've written down 2-1 Leeds.
Okay, you both gone the same way. But no,
look,
you know what?
I've already got my
You know what? I'm going to do a new rule.
guy.
A new rule. No, listen, new rule from now, right now, that if one of you answers one, the other one can't be the same. All right? So I'll let you have that. All right?
I've written all my
Who goes to guess?
So if I look.
Shut up.
Okay.
Brentford against Liverpool live on TNT Sports and talkSPORT tomorrow at 8 p.m. Ugo, you're the guest, so you'll always go first.
3-1 Liverpool.
Aye.
Well, you got to change it now. Well, you got to change it quickly. Quickly, Betty. What are you going for?
I'm going to go for.
Quick. 3-0 or 2-0?
I'm going to go 2-0 Liverpool.
2-0 Liverpool. Okay, last one, 4:30. Spurs against Everton. It's at Everton. Ugo.
Well, I'm not going first.
Yeah, Ugo's the guest.
2-1 Everton.
Okay.
I'm going 2-1 Everton.
What? I just told you.
I don't
Wait,
care.
either you change it or I change it.
Are you TNT? No, you're not.
You're not.
Joe, 3-1.
Oh, 3-1. There you go, 3-1.
Yeah, that's what I meant. 3-1.
Ugo said 2-1. Right,
3-1 Everton. 3-1 Everton.
Okay, you said 2-1. Ugo, always a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
What are you doing tonight? You going to the cinema? You going dancing? What are you doing?
Going home. Going to go and watch the rugby tonight.
Okay, well, enjoy it. Have a great weekend. Benny, I'll see you
next week.
When I see you. Yeah, I'll see you next week. Thanks for listening. Have a great weekend. 4 o'clock Monday for more of the same. Be safe, everyone. Be safe.